But I did hear from a little duck, aka Adam, that you were in and you had a run-in with the cartel.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was very interested to hear this story.
Oh yeah, this story's actually pretty insane. I'm not gonna lie.
Can we share it? Maybe. And welcome to Bevs with Celebs. I'm your host, Lauren Muir, and today we have one half of the ARIA award-winning multi-platinum record electronic music duo Peking Duk and the man behind yoga, Reuben Styles. Welcome to the show.
She did the biggest intro. That was amazing. You
It
didn't
was a
even
long
look down.
intro.
That was
It's all up here.
you can do that? That's
Thank
a
you.
skill.
Thank you. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling being here?
I'm feeling great. I'm having a beer midday and that's, I guess, a perfect day.
Yeah,
I don't
of
think
course.
anything's better than a beer at midday. Like, honestly, I'm going to say that from the bottom of my heart, having a beer at midday is the greatest gift anyone can have in the world.
Hell yeah. And how's being on Bevs with Celebs compared to performing in front of thousands?
Well, look, podcasting though, it's funny. People don't realize podcasting is art as well. It is definitely a conversation is very, very important, and people should be having more conversations because a lot of people, they're kind of just stuck on their phone all the time. And, it's very rare now to value time spent with a friend, even if it's just, catching up with someone over a coffee for 40 minutes max. That is beautiful. And I'm realizing more and more that they're the things that I love most in life, just catching up with someone, talking some funny shit with someone, and it's and having a beer at midday.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that pre-episode, which I might put in at the end as an extra, so stay tuned to hear the sleep deprivation chat we had.
Yeah.
Running on nothing, rubbing two brain cells together.
Yeah. I mean, you could put inserts of that everywhere.
Literally.
It's going to need a lot of editing though. We just did a whole podcast before the podcast. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
If you make it.
Running on better beer, as we were speaking about earlier.
Yeah.
Pure
exactly.
better beer.
Better beer and fumes. Yeah.
The Sydney air.
Look, it's one of those, rare times where I've just gotten to Sydney after 7 days of mayhem, and even though it's a Wednesday right now, it kind of feels like a Monday after having a week of 6 shows in the States or something. It's just getting home and then it's whoa. But I think it's a really good state to be in.
Whereabouts have you been?
So Tuesday last week went to Queenstown, and then Adzie and I had a show at Coronet Peak on the Wednesday where
Perfect ski spot.
perfect
anyone who
ski
skis,
spot, yeah, and
Snowboards.
which is really cool because Quentin, the owner of Mountain Watch and Snow Machine over there, he's just launched Arrival with Jack and Matt, their new travel company.
True. What's it called again?
Arrival.
Arrival.
Yeah.
Arrival.
And where Jack and
Very
Matt are
cool.
going to be sharing their love of travel, which I think, it's very apparent that it's one of the most important things in their life. And I think it is one of the most important things in life is traveling.
It is. Experiencing the world.
Yeah.
And I saw they had close to 6,000 people apply for a trip in the first 24 hours of launching Arrival.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
They started the page and within the first day it had 80,000 followers.
Oh my God. Yeah. Insane. Businessmen, for real.
Businessmen, but it doesn't seem like they're just doing this one purely for business. It's sharing a piece of themselves. And
Their
it's
passion.
something I really admire. I love travel, and nothing I think is more important in the world. Every year I've got a strict rule that Emma and Remdog, who's my little 2-year-old, and I we just have to have 3 weeks, no matter what, of just going as far away from Australia as possible. And then we'll do a few 1-week trips to Asia or somewhere a bit closer throughout the year. But it's I think it's so important, and you can't switch off properly without travel. And I think switching off properly and being in a new culture, learning cultural things from other people, like even just the little things like, oh, I love switching on the radio as soon as I get in a taxi in a new country, and you're like instantly you're like, whoa, this is what they're listening to. And like hearing like, all right, what kind of music, like hearing, I didn't realize, but because we just recently were in Greece, but like Greek music sounds exactly like Turkish music to me because I don't have that ear. But you know, the Greeks and the Turks couldn't hate each other more as far as like a long-term rivalry goes. And so they would never think that, but listening to it from afar, even as a musician who kind of, you know, knows I like to think I know a little bit about music. It's funny. Just, I never knew. I just assumed Greek would be way more like Italian music anyway, but the traditional Greek folk music, it's very fun too. Oh my God. But yeah, I love just immersing myself as quickly as possible. Like even in LA, just quickly turn on some local Mexican music channel, start hearing those weird synth trumpets going crazy. And yeah, I think it's, you know, straight away just diving into a new culture and immersing yourself and just really switching off. It's super important, and travel's the best way to do it, I think.
So you grew up in Canberra. Where did that passion for music come from?
Yeah. Look, passion for music. It's a good question. Oh, you know what? I didn't even finish what I was saying. So I went to Coronet Peak, and then after that had a show in Maitland, then had a show in Thredbo, 2 snow clown areas, and the whole thing took 7 days, and there was quite a lot of driving, quite a lot of flying. And anyway, here we are now talking finally. But yeah, it's been a big, big 7 days, and it feels like I'm a little bit, feeling a little bit kooky today. But yeah, grew up in Canberra. Music, I guess I was always around music. My mum was a songwriter, it still is, but she never like wanted to release music. She only, you know, wrote songs for friends on their birthdays and things like just really cute stuff like that, where she'd just record into a tape player and like hit record, and then like there's a tape of a song I wrote for someone, like, and then that's
Very
like
cute.
their birthday, like really cute, cool stuff like that, where it was only sentimental songs, only songs that, you know, maybe she'd write a song for someone that only they get to ever hear. And so there was absolutely zero interest in commercializing. Like she didn't do live shows even. Like she never played at a pub or anything like that. It's just at home. So I grew up with mum, and dad was in Sydney, but dad was also a musician, and he was a jazz guitarist. And so when I started learning guitar, I started trying to go up to Sydney to see dad more because I wanted to learn how to shred. And, you know, Blink-182 is definitely the band that got me wanting to learn guitar. I remember as like a 5-year-old going, a year 5 human, probably 11 years old, just hearing like, I don't know, hearing some dudes playing power chords, singing about boobs. It was just like, all right, that's awesome. Sick. Get me as many albums of this as I can. And I think dad got me my first Blink album. And so I instantly wanted an electric guitar, and I instantly wanted to learn how the hell they're doing that. And so, yeah, I guess that was the start of my introduction to music. You know, mum was a songwriter, dad was a jazz guitarist, and then I heard about Blink, and then I was like, oh, now I'm kind of interested in what mum and dad do.
And I heard that you took those guitar skills and joined a rock band in your later teen years. Tell me about that.
I would have been in like 20 random bands from the age of like 12 onwards. I'm trying to remember the names of them all. There was some funny ones. I remember the first time I performed live to the whole school at assembly. It was a song called 3 Nipples. And I can almost remember it was like, I can almost remember the chords. It was just like power chords, very Blink or Sum 41 style. And it was just like the chorus was 3 nipples it's a deformity, 3 nipples, you and me, baby. And it was just celebrating deformities and just saying, I love this. It's real silly stuff. But look, I was 13.
And how was it received by the kids who were watching?
Look, the whole assembly was like, what the hell was that? But I loved that I got to do that. And by the way, Lynham High School, my high school, not primary school. Lynham High, my primary school. That was save that. What was it? Yeah, we had like around, so in Canberra, your high school only goes year 7 to 10 and then it finishes and then college starts and that's year 11 and 12. Lynham High had year 7 to 10, 1,200 students.
My God.
So there was 300 per year.
Heaps.
Yeah. So it was playing in front of over 1,000 people and I'd never sang before. I really didn't know how to play guitar properly. And I can't remember what that band was called. Might have been called like the Three Nipples Gang or something. I don't know. Something real dumb. But then, yeah, it was in, oh God, so many after that. There was one called Sunnyvale High, which, you know, Sunnyvale was our favorite type of goon at the time. Sunnyvale Fruity Lexia. And so we got in, and Sunnyvale High was like meant to be like drinking goon after you were already stoned. But Sunnyvale High sounded like, you know, Rydell High, like something out of Greece. But we were like, yeah,
true.
Sounds fun, but it's just about smoking weed and getting absolutely blotto. It's silly, silly stuff.
And then you met Adam at a skate park and you bonded over the fact that you were sharing a girlfriend. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. It was probably around the days of Sunnyvale High or there was another one called From Now On. And yeah, far out. I think it was about year 8. I went, Civic Skate Park had just opened and there's like the new skate park in town. I was like, oh, wow, here we go. You know, Canberra had like 5 skate parks and we were like, all right, here we go. Finally a new skate park in the center of Civic. Like this is all we've needed forever because that was like near our houses. And then we went in and I went there early on a Saturday morning because I was meant to meet my mates there. I was a blader, mind you. Adam was a skateboarder and I'd never met him before, but I knew about him because I was dating a girl and he was dating that same girl. We don't know if it was at the same time and we never will know until she, you know, she confirms or denies, but she currently, I think she's still in the denial train. But I went to the skate park and I was early. You know, all my mates would sleep in, but I was just so excited about skating, like inline skating, that I'd get there like early as I could. And got there and Adam was there. I was like, went up to him like, hey, are you Adam Hyde? And he goes, yeah, dude. Or are you Reuben Styles? And like, I was like, far out, bro. Carly, right? Oh, I just said her name.
I'll bleep it out.
I don't think she would care, to be honest. Screw it. There's that many Carlys in the world.
Should we keep it in?
Keep it in. I was like, dude, Carly. And he's like, yeah, dude. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. And he and I were just like, well, I was like, bro, I'm just waiting for my mates to rock up. And, you know, bladers and skaters aren't meant to get along, but it was going to be ages until my mates were going to get there. And he was like, dude, just come chill with us. Like there's a bunch of spots we're going to go hit. And he was there with his friend called Harry. And so Adam, Harry and myself just ended up spending like, you know, half the day together. And then my mates finally rocked up and they're like, oi, we're going to go hit this other skate park. I'm like, okay. And then that was like, all right. Might never see that guy again. And anyway, saw him at a party 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, yeah. And we were just straight away like, oi, are you learning guitar? And then Adam was like, yeah, I am learning guitar. I was like, dude, let's go find the guitars in the house. There's going to be some. It was like some, I don't know, rich kid's house. And we were like, yeah, sick. Found the guitar room. And there was like 5. We're like, yeah, nice. started like, I was like, dude, I'm learning this bloody solo from this bloody AC/DC record. And he's like, yeah, man, check out this Metallica solo I just learned. And we're just like literally nerding out, just trying to drunkenly play each other guitar solos. It was so funny. But we were like instantly best mates. And to the point where like by the end of year 10, he was at a private school that went year 7 all the way to year 12. But he was like, mate, at year 11, I'm coming over to Dixon College. And I was like, sick, let's do it. And then at Dixon, we got to make beats at recess and at lunch. They had heaps of program, like computers made like just there for kids to use and create on. And there was like band rooms all over the place. And it was a really good creative sort of space where, at recess and lunch, instead of getting drunk or high or whatever everyone else does when they're 16, you could just go in and make beats and create songs. And Adam was like, in a hip hop crew at the time called OCP, Old Cone Piece. And
unique names everywhere.
Yeah. And I was in like an indie rock band at the time called Rubicon. It was the 3 Conway brothers and Ruby. And that was myself. But I was just playing bass. They were like the songwriters and the singers and the geniuses. And then, so we got to, have our different roots. Like I was a little bit more rock leaning. He was a bit more hip hop leaning. Neither of us had ever thought of dance music as a thing ever until we were 18. And then our friend Crofty, he put some headphones on my head and he was like, dude, check this out. And it was, I think it was a song called I Love the Bloody Beetroots by the Bloody Beetroots. And I'd never heard anything like it. I was like, what the hell is this? And with the headphones, with the bass, and then he was like, then he goes, look, they're playing at this club called Lot 33, which is not there anymore, but Institution, like this tiny, like 100-person club in Canberra that acts like Skrillex and Deadmau5 come and play, like at a 100-person club. It was the coolest place. He was like, well, he showed us and he goes, the Bloody Beetroots, they're coming to Australia and they're going to be playing at Lot 33 in 3 weeks from now. Tickets go on sale tonight. And we're like, all right, done.
They sound Australian. You'd think they're in Australia.
Yeah, they're Italian.
Wow.
An Italian DJ duo. And so Adzi and I, we were so excited for that night. Like we'd never heard anything like it. And then we went and saw them and saw the crowd go nuts and like, the euphoria of the things that aren't beers that you can also have at a thing like this at a nightclub. It just felt like it was so incredible. It was a whole new experience I'd never even thought of. Like never even once crossed my mind that, euphoric music plus whatever else might be happening. It was pretty nuts. And Adam and I were like, so what are they doing up there? How are they making those sounds just by pressing one button? Turns out they make the songs in the studio and then they just play them on a CD player up the top. And I was like, oh, cool. So we got to get into the studio and then we get to play songs like that. And then that's what started the whole like passion and need to start creating electronic music. We were like, that was the sickest thing in the world. It felt, and you know what? And Beetroots, they were like one of those acts that had like songs that sounded like hip hop songs that sounded like rock songs, but it was so punk rock. It was so badass. And it was like they were DJs playing electronic music and they wore these like Venom masks, like, and it was so out of control how cool it was. And we're like, yeah, it's probably up there with like as an 11-year-old discovering Blink-182, as us as an 18-year-old discovering the Bloody Beetroots.
Same experience.
It's just like, whoa, who knew music could do that?
It sounds like they have a Marshmallow vibe with the masks. Were they concealing their identity, or was it just like a on and off kind of thing?
No one knew what they looked like. And I mean, like Daft Punk as well, I guess, but like but yeah, it was very cool, like really out there music. And like, you know, when I think of Marshmello, I'm like, that's some pretty standard stuff. You know,
One of the biggest like electronic producers in the world, standard. So
yeah, he makes stuff that sounds like everything else. You know?
fair enough. I see the point.
Yeah.
When did you get into the studio and start making those sounds? What did that look like for you and Adam?
Yeah, I guess when we got in the studio, like it all came down to we're like, what the hell are these people doing? And so we like realized you needed electronic music production software, and then turns out there was so many to choose from back then. Now there's only like a couple, like there's Fruity Loops, Logic, and Ableton, but some people might use Pro Tools. But back then there was like 10. There was like Cubase, there was Acid, there was all these ones at Reason. We went with Reason for some stupid ass reason. Oh God.
No pun intended.
It was so bad. And for what reason did that freaking program exist? No one knows. But, you know, at the time it was just such a new world that all these software developers were like, no one knew what to do. And like, I guess all of them had their pros and cons back then. No one was better than the other. They were all just super different. And we were using Reason, and then we realized, you know, Canberra had a few really cool, really high quality electronic music producers, and one of them was called Ben Collin. And when we discovered his music, we were like, oh, he's just leagues ahead of everyone else we were listening to in Canberra, except maybe like the Aston Shuffle. They were like hugely incredible, and they are probably one of the reasons we were like, we can make ourselves a music duo from Canberra, because Aston Shuffle was a music duo from Canberra. But anyway, we heard Ben Collins' music. We were like, far out, this guy's out of control. And so we hoodwinked him into we were like, how do we convince him to jump in the studio with us? And at the time we were throwing like a bunch of parties as Peking Duk, not knowing how to produce music.
Was that the first name you came up with, Peking Duk? Or were there other prototypes before that?
Nah, it was just the first one. It was and it wasn't intended to stick around. We were just like, oh yeah, Peking Duk. That's right. We were mid-bender. It might have been the night of Bloody Beetroots. We were like, oh, let's do it. Let's be a DJ duo like the Bloody Beetroots are. And then like I remember there was a photo on my old Nokia, like one of the first phone camera Nokias. And Adam had like written in text across my whole arm, like Peking Duk, spelt Peking and then D-U-K. And then I was like, bro, that's it. That's us. And then obviously the next morning I was like, that was such a fun night. Like, wow, let's do it. But I don't know. It always felt temporary. We're always like, you know, it felt like something silly. And, you know, the name Peking Duk as well.
Funny backstory I've heard.
Yeah, it was kind of like something we would refer to when someone is at a nightclub and they're peaking on pingers. But they're peaking in that way where they're kind of just like leaning into the couch with the eyes just rolling back. It's like just coming up, you know, and like that moment pretty much where you fall asleep and you're just doing the duck face.
Can you give us a demo of the duck face? What's that kind of look like?
Just, okay, imagine Fred has just had a pinger and 20 minutes later he just starts going. And that's when someone's Peking Duk. Anyway, and then Adam was like, bro, that's the best name for the DJ duo. And I was like, yeah, dude, 100%. That's definitely going to be the name. And then after we like started getting a couple of like, after we started watching Ben Collin make music, better yet, and we started realizing, oh, that's how to make music. And we were like, literally just spent the next year trying to copy this guy and just like watching him make his own stuff. We were like, far out, this is so sick. then we had music ready to release, and we'd been Peking Duk for like 2 years by then. But
Just
we
doing
were just
live
doing
shows?
random little parties and DJing and playing other people's songs. And we still were on our, on our own journey of how to make songs in the studio. And so we were like, oh yeah, when we start making our own music, maybe it'd be cooler to rethink the name a little bit. And we're like, oh, and we had this one song ready to go, and we're like, you know what? We'll just let the first song happen, and then we'll change the name afterwards. And then that song, had a little bit of progress, a little bit of traction.
What was the first song?
I think it was called Bingo Trippin'. I had like 6 remixes done for it from other DJs, and it felt like a really cool thing. And then the label was like, all right, can we do another 7 singles? And we're like, yeah. Should we change the name? They're like, no way. Like, we can't change now. You've just done this first thing. We've just invested. And we're like, oh, cool. We'll just stick with it. Why not? And so we did. We just stuck with the name. We realized, you know what? We've built this brand in a way over 2 years, and now we're releasing music, and we're like, I ain't mad about the name.
Yeah.
And so it literally just it was just a funny idea for a little while, but then it stuck.
It's kind of an ode to the young lads who created the foundations of the, I guess, Peking Duk Empire.
Yeah, it was just literally named it after someone being two-munted. And then we're like, screw it, let's go.
How did it feel when your hit song High started to chart and it ended up coming number 2 on Triple J's Hottest 100 that year?
Dude, yeah, High. That was a crazy feeling. Yeah, we moved to Sydney in 2012. We left we had cafe jobs and we lived at home with our mums, and so we weren't paying rent and we were earning money from week to week work. And we quit our cafe jobs and then moved into a group house in Sydney all at once. So it went from, I'd never been that broke ever. It was so crazy. And we had to borrow money for rent from one of our roommates all the time. It was rough. But we were so determined then to we're like, you know what? As long as we just spend like at minimum 12 hours a day making tunes, eventually we'll get, some songs that feel good. And then we had this song in 2012 called The Way You Are. And I remember people around Australia really getting behind it, and like Triple J were playing it quite a lot. It got added to full rotation on Triple J, and then it even got us booked for like Falls Fest and a bunch of cool spots. And that was the fuel we needed, because it was still a bit like far out. We're out of our depth. We're in Sydney. We're playing we can't afford rent. What the hell's going on? But then that song happened, and so we felt like we could do it. And then we tried again with a new song called Feels Like. Didn't get the love on Triple J, didn't get the love from Australia. And we were just like, oh God, it's over. But then we had this song with Swanky Tunes, which were like this Russian DJ trio. Yeah. Which then helped us get on like a bunch of parties at WMC in Miami. And then we had a song with Laid Back Luke. So we were building ourselves a little bit internationally as well. In the what would then eventually become the EDM scene, but no one was saying EDM then. There was.
You forged the way. You created EDM, basically.
No,
I'm being sarcastic, but close enough, close to that area.
But EDM, yeah, we saw it happen, and it was like, I remember all the DJs hating the word EDM. Like, it was just like the worst. Because back then it was just like, there was big room, there was house, there was techno. No one had a blanket term for it, all of it. And then that's when, the US really got behind like any form of electronic dance music. They loved every single part of it. Where like it was quite divided before that. Like I guess the drum and bass DJs would never be at the same party as the house DJs, and the house DJs would never be at the same party as the tech house DJ. Like it was just all these different worlds. But then it became EDM. I reckon that was like, I don't know, maybe 2015. And that's when we started thinking we should turn it into a live band. We were like, what are we doing here? We don't want to be part of whatever that, which was funny. And then we did turn it into a live band for a bit. But yeah, okay, rewind. Whoa, 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 whoa. We did the song with Laidback Luke with Swanky Tunes. And then Adzi had this song which sounded kind of like the mixture of like a, I don't know, Sebastian track, or like maybe had like elements of, I don't know, French house, but slowed down, and it felt really cool. And it wasn't too dissimilar to like this remix we did of like Passion Pit, which also blew up hugely online in the global scale in like 2013. Maybe that was 2012. But that was like, we saw the power of the internet do the thing with this old, I guess, blog world that used to exist. And this remix just got millions of plays and millions of like downloads, and like heaps of people were playing this remix we did of Passion Pit, which is funny. Like I'd fully kind of forgotten that until just then.
Yeah. I saw you did an Ellie Goulding remix at one stage.
Really?
Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
Wow.
I saw that last night, but I'd never heard it before, but it was very cool.
I don't even remember that.
Wow, crazy.
That's hilarious. Someone messages us all the time asking about our remix of Lord's song Perfect Places. And it's so funny. Like I'll do like a post and then they'll be like, yeah, but it's not Perfect Places. And it's like, oh, there she is. It's like this one remix we played at a festival once that we did of Lord. And, Lord chose not to pick it for, it was done on spec, and so it never got released. And so it's funny. Yeah, that sort of stuff. But yeah, anyway, when that went crazy, that was our lives changed forever. That was 2014, and we'd been at it for 2 years in Sydney, fighting over noodles, but still believing that we could, eventually one day pay our rent. And after High, let's just say we were able to pay rent that year.
Hell yeah.
And pay our mate back, which felt so good.
All the debts paid off.
So good.
And was there ever a moment in the studio after High where you felt like, okay, all this pressure to create a hit just like High?
Well, yeah. I mean, after High, it would have been healthier, I think, had our song After High not had any, success. Our song After High was Take Me Over, and then that was also, that came in at like 5 on the Hottest 100 that year, and High was number 2. So like Take Me Over was quite big, and I think that made it feel like, well, we can't stop the streak now. Where if we went, High, big song, and then back to a couple of fun ones, then we, take the pressure off. But then it was like 2 in a row have done well, like way better than we could have ever imagined. We were like, oh God, we have to keep this hot streak going. And that's when the pressure got crazy. It actually was not enjoyable, like trying to make songs. Because like with High and Take Me Over, like Take Me Over was made, I guess, before High was released. So we weren't really thinking like about anything. Yeah. And then the next, like, I guess 3 years, we're just constantly trying to write fucking songs that could really, really hit hard. And yeah, constantly just being stressed in the studio. It was a weird time, not going to lie.
It would be. I feel like it's a very unique experience, something that most people will never have the chance to experience, and something really hard to take on board.
Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of felt like, it felt like we're in a point now where we can't experiment as much after 2 songs, where it's like you should be absolutely more experimental than ever that early in your career as well. Especially, yeah, because we'd only been, I guess, releasing songs for about 2 or 3 years at that point. And so for it to happen that early meant like our creative juices were like very narrowed very quickly. And we're like, all right, we'd kind of have 2 songs that sound like a certain thing. We want it, future songs to sound like us, have our sound, but we also want it to be successful. So it's got to be appealing. And like we got really lucky with Stranger, meeting Elephant in Sweden and going on a songwriting trip in Sweden. Like she is just the coolest person in the whole world. And getting that song, and you know what? Going to Sweden, that just immediately was like, oh, everyone here is just fun and loves making music, and they love making cool music, but it's also quite catchy as well. It just like felt like, okay, this is a good area for us to be in. And so we did a bunch of Sweden trips across 2015, 2016 and 2017. Like Stockholm is one of those places that unlocked us a little bit from feeling trapped, which was cool. And I guess along with that, we met Elephant, who's just the most creative, cool person in the whole world. And so we did Stranger, and instantly we're like, oh, cool. You know what? We can do anything.
Was Stockholm big for electronic music? Because was Avicii from there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that a very popular place for electronic music at the time?
I don't think they think about like, the genres so much.
Mm.
In Sweden, it's very much known as like I guess there's just a lot of songwriters there and a lot of producers there and a lot of people that don't want to release music, and tour. Like they just love writing and producing, and it was really fun for us to start getting in the studio with other writers and other producers, as opposed to just getting me and Adam plus a singer. It was like, seeing the processes of other people, and it just made us feel like, bam, as soon as we left Sweden, we're like, yeah, we can do anything. Like it was so sick. But yeah, I guess the music creation is just so deeply rooted in their DNA, and they learn songwriting and music production at school. Like it's part of like life,
And you ended up performing your hits at so many festivals, headlining at Splendor, Groove in the Moo, Field Day. What is the feeling like before going on stage?
I guess before going on stage, yeah, I guess my feeling is like just praying that I do a good job. That, I want it to be the best experience. I want to create special memories for the people that are there. But yeah, I mean, it used to just be like, holy shit. But now I'm like, nah, I just want to do real good. Like, all right, let's kill it. Let's just absolutely. But yeah, it used to be crazy. I mean, I used to not be able to like fathom it. And I remember there was one moment at like Splendor I think it was Splendor 2015. We did the mix-up tent at Splendor 2015. It's so funny thinking of Splendor now as a historical festival, because that's just like always been the backbone of the Australian music industry. And how long has it not existed for now? Like 2
2 years, I think.
Years or so? Oh my God. That's so weird.
I think it was meant to go ahead last year and they just cancelled it. No. So very devastating for Australian music.
It's crazy. Splendid 2015. We played at the mix-up tent, and I remember that feeling before going on where the act before us finished and they pulled the curtains in, and then when the lights got dimmed by our lighting guy, and the deafening scream. It was like oh, they now know that we're about to go on, and the deafening scream was just like, holy dooly. It just felt like that. It was like a Beatles moment or something. It just in my head.
It gives you shivers. Like it's giving me shivers.
Oh my God. And I remember Adam didn't know where I was, but I was on the other side of and I was just like trying to like signal him to say, but like at the same time, just I couldn't unhear that. It was so crazy. Like I think the tent could hold about 10,000 people, but supposedly, according to everyone there was at least like 20 because out the sides of the tent spilling everywhere. It was just so crazy. And yeah, that moment, the screen, it was just the most cool, crazy feeling of all time. I still might think it might be my favorite moment in Duck history because it was the first time I'd ever heard it. And it was like, wow. That's
insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Insane. I was just about to ask what's the craziest moment, but there you go.
I reckon that might be it.
Do you have any other crazy moments that still you think about regularly?
Oh, yeah. There was a moment where we did a gig in Geraldton and didn't realize we were in the middle of the club. Like it was a 360-degree stage. And this was like back in 2012 or so. And Adzi had to do a pee. and this we'd always need to pee mid-set, like always, because we used to drink like fish. And literally I texted the promoter saying, hey, do you have an empty 2-liter juice bottle? Because normally you could just do it straight under the decks. No one would ever see. Like no one.
Oh my God.
And I was like, he was like, oh yeah, I've got like an empty champagne bucket. I'll bring it up. And he brought it over and Adam, I was like, hey, here you go, bro. And he turned around and the club was like step elevated as well. So like in front was low, side was like same level and behind was high. And so he turns around, doesn't know that anyone's there. And there's like 15 people right in front of him and he starts peeing into the empty champagne bucket. And I look up and there's all these people just taking photos on their fucking phones. Oh my God.
Did they get out? Did you see the photos online or anything?
How's this? It was before Instagram.
Amazing.
It was
Perfect
so
timing.
good. Like they would have shared it with their friends on Facebook or texted it around to each other. But at the time, Peking Duk wasn't that big. Also, at the time, there was no Instagram. And even if there was, there might have been Instagram, but nothing could go viral on Instagram. There was no algorithm. It was just like you only saw the people you followed. That's all that existed.
I remember those days. You open up Instagram, only people you know, not all these ads, not all these videos that are just random.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was so. I wonder if any of those like 15 people have photos and videos. But yeah, they'd have them
They're
somewhere.
out there somewhere.
They're somewhere.
But you two have lived the rockstar lifestyle, I guess. You've gone to Ibiza, LA and performed. What has been...
Actually, fun fact, just as weird as Peking Duk in 15 years never having done an album, we've also never been to Ibiza.
Are you serious?
Never.
The internet told me this. So I need to do some more research next time. I'll get onto that. Scratch Ibiza. But I did hear from a little duck, aka Adam, that you were in and you had a run-in with the Cartel.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I was very interested to hear this story.
Oh yeah, this story's actually pretty insane, I'm not going to lie.
Can we share it? Maybe. I did hear it was pretty rogue and I heard some details which should probably be censored.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell it in a way that is shareable online. Except, look, I'll just say...
Do a brief recap.
I'll just say you'll never hear what city it was in. That's useful. for being able to share the whole story. And if we don't say it was,
Do you want me to cut that out?
Mute.
I'll mute.
Okay. So we had a show.
Can I use the word cartel?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll keep that in.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll also send you a copy.
Because they won't
so you
know
can-
which cartel if we don't mention which city or state.
Perfect.
So we had a show.
Hold up. Before you hear the craziest, unheard of story in Peking Duk history, make sure to leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify or a thumbs up if you're tuning in on YouTube. Now, to hear the rest of the episode, head to part 2, available now.